Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Making Mannequin Heads into Planters. Da 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 da. Hi, how are you? Good, I'm glad. I hope your day is going well, and today is a very exciting day because we're going to continue working with the tall mannequin head, but I don't know what to call her yet. We gotta figure out a name for her. It's a beautiful morning, and I'm excited to get to work on this. It's actually before work, and I was like, ooh, good opportunity to come down and get to work on her. So, got a little debate going on. So I know I'm going to, so blah, 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 blah. Let me rewind. I put in an order for the foam stuff. There weren't enough of what I needed. It's, coming into winter, everybody's bought it apparently at the hardware stores. So I actually went ahead and ordered it. I do prefer to buy it local if possible, even though it's not technically local. But anyway, brick and mortars to support that. All right, it's cold in here. There we go. So I ordered that, and I'm going to be waiting for that to come in, but I do have enough to work with right now. So I do know that the spine, we have the design, right, of where the foam is going to go. And what kind of foam is this? It's a polyfoam Caulk Saver for the gaps. Comes in these packages. So this is, interestingly enough, this is a package of 20 feet that I got at Lowe's. And each one of these packages are 20 feet. The ones online that I found are only twice as much price-wise, but for 100 or 135 feet. The 135 feet is actually only like 28 bucks. So I get a lot larger volume of this exact same stuff by ordering it online. So, I mean, it's like, well, if I'm gonna be using this stuff, which I do in a lot of project stuff, I like it a lot, it's fun to use, then I guess they're, it's kind of one of those things, I'm going to use the cheaper stuff. So the question right now is, do I use the thicker? I've got it in two thicknesses right now. I bought the thickest, a package of 100 feet of the thickest as well. Do I use the thinnest? I'm thinking about the neck right now. I'll tell you where I'm thinking about. The head is done up and through here. We got that done at the last episode. So now I'm thinking about these lines here, coming from here, or actually maybe from here. You can see it from there down and around the sides to the bottom, doing that on both sides, and then one down the center. And I'm going to fill in here. I'm thinking I'm going to take the thinnest, maybe not. The thicker. I'll take the thicker outline here. Thicker outline here. We know the thickest are going to be going across the spine, down the back, and then the thinnest maybe down the center, give it more of a delicate line. And then I may end up doing thick through here to do a contrast. So what we'll work on right now is we'll get these three lines on, and then I will work on starting lines coming down here. So I'll use the medium thickness here. This was all medium, right? Yes. We used medium for the head. So then I want any place that there's real detail. Actually, I'm going to use these with the thin. And then I can play with the thick and the thin coming down through here once I have more of it. Yeah? Yeah, I think that's great. All right, so we're going to use medium coming down both sides and then thin coming down the very center. So should I do my center line first, or should I do the sides? I think I should do my center line because it is coming from the very top all the way down. Let's do that. Welcome to the process of how do you figure out where to put stuff, how to put stuff, all of that. So what I'm going to use, I think, just a blunt cut in the center. Or actually, to make it fit, because it's got sort of a V shape at the very top, I'm going to give it a little bit cut just a slight V shape. See that? That works. See that little wedge? Because I'm going to wedge it in here. I'll actually do it this way so that the curve matches my curve. Yep, that'll work. And then I'm going to glue it down through here. My glue gun I've already plugged in, because then I'll follow it up with a multi-tack. And I want to follow organic lines, not necessarily be like rigid lines, right? So, all right, let's do this. This should be working by now. Yes, it is. Oops. Don't want to go too far, as I've mentioned before. Be sure my hot glue gun is not melting my foam strips. Put this puppy right on there. Don't overthink it. Get it on. There we go. Good. And I'm going to bring this down. And I do want it to be centered. So there. It's a nice light line of hot glue. And as I've mentioned before, this hot glue is not the glue I'm relying on. Because I mentioned it many times in the past. What does hot glue do in the heat? It melts. That's the whole function of hot glue. Right? Where are these going? Where is this going? It's going outside. I mean, you could have it inside. If you had it inside, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But I want it to be able to be outside, so I'm going to clip off the end there. There we go. Since I want it outside, I need to be able to have it not melt in the sun. Therefore, so what I'm using is my stack, sort of sticking it behind it to keep it at the correct angle for what I want to do. Actually, I'm going to roll it this way so you can see me doing it. Ooh, really likes to roll that way. So I'm feeling much better from COVID, almost fully back, which is a relief. So I'm using the multi-grip hardware, household, and marine glue. That's good stuff right there. Good stuff. Ocean State Job Lot. I really like it. It sets up quickly. It flows nicely. It's got just enough thickness to it so that it'll stay where you put it without running all over. And yet it will dry completely clear. It is shiny, just so you know, and the top screws on, which is really nice not to have it just set clip on. A lot of the ones where they just set on, they don't really seal very well, and your glue just goes bad. I've had bottles of these where it's a couple of years later and I'm like, it's gonna be bad. And I open it and I'm like, hallelujah, it's still perfectly good. So whatever they did with it, however they made it right. Now, so that's all set. That glue will set up and dry. And so I keep in mind that this is going to be painted afterward, right? So now I'm going to take my medium weight. I've already got one that I had cut for a previous project. This one's got a big old melted spot. Look at that. That's from it sitting up against the hot glue gun. So I wonder if I have enough to not include that. I do. So this is going to come in at the angle. So what I want to do is I want to cut my tip to pretty much match that angle, because I do want it to look cool. And yeah, that matches right up. I'll show you after I put it in. That works really well. I'm going to run it down through here and then right next to it. All right, hot glue. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Get that first part on. And then I need another glue stick. It's the other thing I need to get. I forgot to order online. All my stuff will come tomorrow. The beauty of ordering online now is that, you know, it comes the next day, practically 2 days later. And which is great, because I have enough for today. All right. So Lee and I, on Thursdays, I thought I'd just share a little info about last night while I'm doing this. Let me put that down while I've got hot glue in there. Need a new hot glue stick. On Thursday, Thursdays, now that we're on the other side, getting on the other side of COVID. Obviously, we're not fully on the other side of COVID since I just had it. But we are like, let's reconnect now that we've been in this weird zone for years, literally, which is a weird thought. But let's reconnect with one another. We need to spend time together. So we've been doing, whenever we can on Thursdays, doing date nights. Lee has Fridays off. He takes Fridays and Sundays off. He's a master personal trainer at Ignite Fitness. Woot woot! Shout out to Ignite. Cool place. If you ever have a chance. It's in Kansas. No, it's in Hartford, West Hartford actually, and in Avon. They have 2 locations. It's one of those types of places where if you go there, you don't just have a gym membership. It's actually a training facility or a fitness center where only the people you train in order to have access to the place and the people in the facility. It's a very, very cool endeavor. And they do a lot of community outreach. They have, one fabulous thing about Ignite Fitness is that they have a bunch of, they always do art. Lee is in charge of, they have gallery, like wall space that they set up for gallery for people to sell their artwork and to do installations. I've done one there, and I have some of my permanent installation, some large pieces in Avon and some smaller pieces in West Hartford, paintings of mine that are there. But they're very community oriented and very, very cool. Great facility, great people. And anyway, so Lee, that was coming from the fact that Lee takes Fridays off. He has for a very long time. It works very well. Excuse me. And so Thursday nights is a nice night for him and I to reconnect and just go and do something and then have dinner and have a date night. And so we, last night, this is a typical Lee and I thing to do. I want more of an angle on that. It's like, I was so excited because I'm like, ooh, date night. Can we go to Habitat for Humanity Restore? This is shit that we love to do. You know, Lee and I love to go. We'll go antiquing on our date night. We'll go, depending on what's open, you know, what time of year it is, you know, stuff like that. You know, it's not, we're not going to a show necessarily. We do that at other times, but it's really fun, just sort of quirky shit that we do that we both love to do that we bond over. So we went to Habitat for Humanity has a restore in Bloomfield. And if you don't know what restore is, it's a really cool. That didn't go together well. I just melted it, but it's okay. It's going outside. Don't care. So anyway, so they get desks, you know, furniture, things, stuff, paint. It's all Habitat for Humanity, and they get like pallets and pallets of they have pallets of fabric, like really good, high quality, not industrial, I wouldn't say, commercial fabric, these giant rolls that are really nice, like from hotels, UHart, so University of Hartford, one of my alma maters. I did my master's there. I guess they redid their dorms, and all of the desks and bureaus that were in their dorms are there. Unfortunately, the way I just did that, the big chunk, the melted spot is now showing up, but who cares? And anyway, so if you've never been to one, go to one. You can get some really cool stuff. I got office chairs for the office, actually, there for $50 a piece, and when I looked them up, they were $1,000 chairs. Stuff like that. So we went last night, and down here behind me you can see this cabinet here and that cabinet there. Well, those are old. We've had them for over a decade. I think we bought them. Oh, don't throw that away. Goodness gracious, what am I doing? I think we bought them when we first moved here, so they're like almost 10 years old, and which is great. 10 years old is great, but it's IKEA. So 10-year-old IKEA is 10-year-old IKEA, you know. They were a stopgap to be able to hold books and everything in the apartment that we had, for the space that we had when we moved here, because we got rid of so much stuff and so much furniture. There, that's cool. There we go. Right? That is freaking awesome. So now I'm going to do the little teeny pieces that are here. I'm going to prop the head up so that I can work with it without it moving around a lot. I'm going to use my... Actually, you know what would work? Boom. Look at that. Just use the coil, put the head on the coil, and it'll hold it in place. Look what I just discovered. You were probably sitting there going, Patrick, why don't you do that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. But anyway, so we ended up getting, we've been wanting to replace them. They're falling apart. After moving a number of times and everything, they look fine now, but when you get into them, they're very narrow front to back. They look nice and they're great for books, but they've been moved just one too many times. The last move kind of took it out of them. All right, now I need to add glue on this side piece, side piece. And so we found they have metal shelves there for $50, and they're 5-foot shelves, like metal, like adjustable shelves, not like the mesh kind, but actual like solid metal. And they're open shelves, which is going to be great for storage of art supplies and things like that. And I think one of those will take the replace one of these. And these things were $100 and some odd a piece. So we'll just get rid of these because they are literally falling apart. They're just disintegrating. And the chipboard is seeing its last days. All right, got the glue on there. That will hold all of that together. Got a nice bead. And did I do that on this side? I don't remember doing that on this side. Yes, I did. And I did the middle. All right, good. So anyway, so that was our date night. And then we went to have Thai at a Thai restaurant, which was excellent. So, alrighty. The next thing that I'm going to do, I want to do these sections here with the small tubing, which I've got here. Let me grab some more. I've got my small pieces, leftovers, which I can now use. Fabulous. So this is going to be, and I want it to swoop, right? I want it to not be straight across. I want to do it this way. I'm going to cut the angles at the ends. So when I put it in, it's curved, just like that. All right, I'm gonna actually put the hot glue on the tubing for the first one so that I can position it correctly. Because I'm not exactly sure where on it it's gonna like end up, you know. Yeah, that's cool. Then I'm going to do one more on the outside of that, now that I know where it's going. And we'll bring it there. Hot glue that in place. These are those lines down below that I drew. The angle of the end. Oh, God, these scissors are crappy. These are ancient kitchen scissors. That's what happens when you have they're not crappy, they're just giving up the ghost. So now I need to glue on both sides. So what did I just do? So I've got that, I wanted it a little curved. Got it nice and curved. This is great, the coil at the head. I'm gonna get my glue down here. Make sure I get my glue on each one to permanently hold it in place. I'm actually going to just go on the top side of this one. Love this glue. There we go. And I'm going to build, should I build each side? Yeah, I want them to be matchy-matchy. So that's all of the thin extras. I have one more extra piece to use. I'm going to cut from this side. I want it to curve. I do want it, it doesn't need to be exact, but I do want it to be very similar on both sides with my strips this time. And now I know where they're going. I can actually write that line with the hot glue to tack it into place. The glue that I put on this side, the clear glue that I put on that side, is actually setting up, and it just held right onto it. So that's good. Snap that right in there. Hey, hey, look at that. Very cool. Do another one. So each time you do a cut at an angle, that piece then becomes a cut at the other angle, which you'll notice. My lighting is weird down here, huh? There we go. It's because everything behind me is so bright. So if I turn it over, I don't have to cut the one end again, right? Bingo, that's right. There we go, just tack it into place. Don't need to use a lot of hot glue on this here, because these are being tucked right next to one another. There we go. I do need to set this one in with glue. Let that come down. So right at the top, in between, put a little bead of glue there that will flow in and keep all of that going. You know what, with these, I wonder if I'm gonna try something on this side. I'm gonna try it on both sides. I think because of the nature of these, I can just put down glue and not have to tack them with hot glue. Now, because I just did that, I'm kind of screwed if this doesn't work. All right, but we'll see. We will find out. So I want a little bit more of an angle cut. There we go. Pop this one in here. Oh yeah, that actually works great. That stuff is tacky enough. And I can actually move it and squish it right into place. Oh, this is cool. So this one on this side now. Cut that right. Oops. This is awkward. I'm working with too large of a piece. There we go. So remember, when you're cutting these, cut them a little bit long, because you can always trim. You can't add back, right? Give myself an angle. I'm curving this way, so I want the angle to be this way. What's funny is they're not matching up already. There, if I space it just a little bit. Because these are right next to each other, I kind of do want them to be matching up as much as I can. It just looks cooler. I know, they're for outside, but, and because this is going quickly enough, I'm not worried about the glue that I have down drying. It's a little long, therefore I can snip it closer. There we go. Oh, that's cool. Hey, this is great. This is a nice little process. You're welcome. Here we go. Get this one right in there. Bingo boingo. It's too long. It does this weird curl at the end if you make it too long. It doesn't set in, it looks like it's jammed in. So we don't want that yet. And get this nice cut angle. Pop right in. I am going back and forth just to make sure I don't get fixated on one side and then screw up the angle. Or screw up the balance of it. Like I said, it doesn't, oh my gosh, these scissors. If I get it at a certain angle, I just do not like to cut. There we go. Here's one of my scraps that I kept, which will work perfectly. Pop that right in there. My glue is still super tacky. Keep those little nubbins for later. Because I think what I'll do is I'll actually texturize with little pieces because her face is going to be smooth, so I want the rest of it to be textured. But I'll do that. We'll see how, I'll show you how I want to do that later. Here's another long piece. I'm putting it in and it's swooping this way. I want to cut my angle this way. Not too much of an angle, but that's a good angle right there. It's a little bit long. It's going to look like it's jammed in. Yeah, it's going to look like it's jammed in. So just trim the end right there. There we go. Nice. Alrighty, this guy can go in right here. I'm very excited. This is cool. And I'll show you the progress in just a minute, and that'll be the end of this episode. All right, so continuing with our little swoops. Going right across, these are little pieces. Pop that right in there. To the opposite side. I just got it backwards, but who cares, because it'll actually just go right in. Get that tucked in. Oh my god, this is cool. Squish down. Small piece. Now I'm setting it in place and then cutting it. You'll notice that. So make a conscious choice that that's the way to do it. Because every time that I cut it without it being in place, it's slightly wrong and it's frustrating. And then it looks messy, and then I have to recut it, and then I have to cut a new piece, and I save it for later, blah, 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 blah. So learn from my mistakes. Don't do it that way. Measure it in place. And it'll look nicer. It's worth setting it down, cutting, recutting if you need to. Like this one is too long. Cut that off at the end. And then it goes right in. Bingo boingo. Nice, fits right in there. Now, I've got little pieces that I need for the very end. I have little scraps left over. I want to do, how do I want to do this? I want it to be a wedge cut at one end and just a blunt cut at the other end. And I'm just gonna pop it right in there. The glue is not tacky in there. I don't want these popping out. So I'm gonna add some glue. These last couple. And that'll keep them right in there. So I've got a little wedge. See the little wedge? I'll stick it in there. What's nice is not working with hot glue. I can actually move it around. And there it goes, perfect. Use that, another one of those little teeny pieces that are left over that I kept. Trim that end down to a wedge. This one's going to be too long, so I need to put it in place so I can figure out how long it's going to be so I don't cut it too short. As I always say, you can't add back to it. Oh, that's pretty freaking sweet, my peoples. This is cool. All right, there we go. That is done for today. All right, well, let's look at the results. Set my hot glue gun down, move this over, and ta-da. Cool, right? Looky there. That's coming along. I wonder if I need to take a thin piece here and add it in. I think I'm going to, just while I'm right here, put her face down. And I'm going to take a narrow piece, because there is room here. And I'm going to do a wedge. So now that I look at her, when I was showing her to you, I saw a spot that I want to fill. I don't necessarily need to, but it's been bugging me. So I'm going to put glue in there. And I'm going to just fill that space, that gap. And I think I'm going to end up doing it on the other side as well. So I wedged one end, cut, right? Stick it, jam it down in there. All I did was put regular glue because it'll give me a chance to work it a little bit. There we go. And really get it in there, and then blunt cut the end so it's right up against the other piece. Oh, that looks so much better, right? Much better. So this side I have the opportunity to do that as well. Oops, make sure I don't pull that off. Good Lord, Patrick. I have the opportunity to do that here. Real narrow. Just aesthetically for myself, I want to do this. Once it's painted, you probably wouldn't notice, but I think it'll just look better generally. Let's go with one piece here and this very small piece here. And I will be happier every time I look at it and not go, oh, I should have fixed that. So it's gonna go there. Let me cut it right here. A little long. And it's nice as it's foam, so it's malleable. There we go, filled that little baby gap. Then I've got another little baby gap. That's just really obvious. It's really obvious right now because the under color, the color underneath is much darker, so I can really see it. But the cool part about this is even just filling these, it'll just look cool having these small pieces even, I think. Oops. I want to put one right here. That's going to finish this off. Put some glue. And because I'm doing it on both sides, it's not going to look like it's like totally piecemeal, right? All right, my friends. So this was fun. Thank you for joining me today. Getting there with this mannequin head. Very, very cool. Let's see on the other side if I need to do any more. Nope, that looks good. There we go. I filled in those gaps. It still looks cool. It's with the smaller bead, so it's a little bit different. And it's nice and glued in there. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Put it there so you can see her. And take a big breath in. Big breath out. Oh, my shoulders were really high. And put a lot of love out in the world. There's not enough love out in the world. If we keep it to ourselves, why bother? And it'll come back to you. It really will. It really does. You'd be surprised how just a smile and a hello to just random people will help their days significantly, and it will help yours, because as you're doing it, when you do it, that response that you get, even if there's no response, you feel like you're putting it out there, and you can tangibly feel a difference in the air around you when you do that, when you make an effort, even though other people don't. And then you'll see that other people will then change just slightly, or change a lot. A lot of people change a lot when you do that. They get out of themselves and they go, oh, because I know when people do that to me, I go, oh yes, I am not alone in the world. All right, so put that love out in the world and be easy on yourself. Give yourself lots of space to grow, and that means make mistakes and learn from them. Use them as opportunities for learning. Don't beat yourself down about it. We all make mistakes, goodness gracious. And so you have an opportunity to make a choice. You can either beat yourself down about it, or you can learn from it. You can use it as a learning experience. And in my world, I choose to use as many of them for learning experiences, even though they can be painful. And often are painful. They're worth learning from, because then you can learn how to do things differently next time, so that you don't have that painful interaction or that painful moment again. Or at least you can, in 5 times, then after the 5th time you do it, you go, finally I figured it out. All right, so I wish you a wonderful day, and just be good. Try. It's hard, but it's worth it. All right, bye.